This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.
Yes, welcome to the 2020 Lime Rock Park Vintage Festival. Give you a little glimpse of the facility here at Lime Rock. Of course, this year is going to be a little bit different due to COVID. We will not have all the cars we usually have here, but believe me, you will enjoy the event today. And because of the quarantine, a lot of these cars could not make it. But hopefully we'll get this thing ironed out and we'll be back next year full strength. Please, we're going to give you some glimpses of some cars that were here, and believe me, we did have a great time. One of the first cars we happened to take a look at was this very interesting number 93 Ford RS 2600, 1973. The owner of this beautiful car, Peter Borman. And believe me, this car was absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to see this car out on the racetrack. And you know, with all the, unfortunately, we were not able to interview people at this event because of the restrictions put on everybody, but we did have a chance to, you know, get a look at these cars and talk to them off camera. And this car was just special, I'll tell you. You know, when you go to these events, you never know what you're going to see. And believe me, this is one of the very rare cars. I haven't seen one of these in a very long time. A 1973 Ford RS 2600. And yes, we could not wait to hear the car run. And Peter just, non-stop there. He just going over everything with the car. And believe me, I can't wait to race day. So much credit. When you look at this car like this, the car looks like a brand new car. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. And there they are tinkering around with the carburetors, and I can't wait to see this car out on the racetrack. I have a feeling that we're in for a surprise to see how quick this car gets around the Lime Rock track. But all in all, you know, being here at this event is always a special thing for us, and we really want to thank Lime Rock Park for all the great things they do. And to put this together, believe me, it was not easy, I assure you. Thankfully, they got it going, and the people that were here certainly had a great time. You know, in our last episode, we showed you the parade and the get-together out in front of the straightaway. I mean, believe me, it's just a special place to come up here to Lime Rock Park. And yes, they did name this place right. It is the park. And absolutely gorgeous. Just remember, next year I hope Labor Day weekends will be a little different and we're back to a little bit of normalcy. But for now, we're going to do the best we can. And I want to thank Peter here for, having a word with us or two. And believe me, his car is gorgeous. And I can't wait to see it out at the racetrack. Yes, the number 93 Ford is just a beautiful car. I have to tell you, this car is mint. Yes, this 2600cc, I believe, V6 engine is really beautiful. I mean, just look at the detail there. And we're going to get ready here to get out on the racetrack and see what we could do here. Well, it came time for Peter to get ready to go out to the racetrack. And as you could see, he's starting his ritual of getting ready. And believe me, there's a lot to this. You know, everyone thinks you just jump in the car and go. But boy, let me tell you, there's a lot of preparation that has to happen before that. And as you could see, all the safety equipment used here is really special. And I have to give people a lot of credit. I tell you, this vintage car racing is getting better and better, and I actually like to watch vintage car racing more than I do the regular Pro Series. And as you could see, that's why. And of course, he's getting a little help here, getting his helmet ready. And I mean, this it's like a ritual they go through before every race. But let me tell you, they do an excellent job training these drivers about what to do and how to do it when they're learning to get their license to do this vintage racing. And believe me, it is a wonderful sport. Of course, the seat belts have to be on and really tight, so there's no, you stay put in the car. And believe me, it's just it's fascinating to watch these people get ready, and all the Hans device and everything else. You really got to be on your game to know what you're doing here. Of course, it came time to start the car up and go out to the paddock to get ready to go out on the track. And yeah, here we go. And boy, let me tell you, this car is just beautiful and sounds great too. Can't wait to see it out on the track. Yes, we finally got going and the car was out on the racetrack. And boy, let me tell you, he was with some heavy hitters out there in that class. But let me tell you, this RS4 2600 is a really special car. He looked right at home here at Lime Rock Park. And believe me, that car is going to be a force to reckon with. And yes, once Peter got the car warmed up, boy, you could tell that thing was really going around this Lime Rock track beautifully. And yeah, I tell you, just can't get over how good this car runs and how pretty it is. You know, just a pleasure to be here to watch something like this. And yes, Peter was getting better and better. And boy, let me tell you, the RS4 2600 really took to the Lime Rock track, as you could see. Absolutely beautiful car out there and run great. Of course, another car we had a chance to take a look at was the number 46 Alfa Romeo. It was actually a 1974 GTV, and the car was owned by Michael Donnelly of South Glastonbury, Connecticut, and I believe he also has a business in New Britain called the Paddock. And this car was really pretty, let me tell you. Look at this. Well, it came time to get a glimpse at Michael's Alfa Romeo out on the racetrack, and I'm going to tell you, this car really looked good out there. Looked like he was getting real comfortable, and the car looked like it was taking to this track beautifully. And boy, let me tell you, the car is certainly a looker. And yes, the more we saw the car out on the racetrack, this 46 is really taken to this Lime Rock track. And believe me, he'll be a force to reckon with before it's over with. And another car we would come across in the paddock is number 41, 1950 Alfa Romeo 158 Alfetta. And boy, let me tell you, car's owned by Peter Greenfield, and it is just an absolutely gorgeous car. And yes, the work continues on these cars, and there's always something to do. But what was fascinating me with this car is how they start it. There's literally a motor that turns something in the front of the car to get it going, as you will see. I mean, it's hard to believe they did this kind of thing in the day, but believe me, they keep the tradition going. They do exactly like it was in the day, and you know, I can't get over it. I mean, a car like this is just priceless. You just don't see this kind of a car very often, and I've seen his name before. He's kind of famous with Alfa Romeo cars, and he owns some very special cars, believe me. And yeah, they got that battery ready, and pretty soon they're gonna hook it. Yeah, there it is. There's the device. It hooks up the starter to get it going. And wow, can't wait to see this thing on the racetrack. Wow, how special is that? You hook this thing up and zip the motor over, and boy, let me tell you, they don't miss a trick here. This event has it all, without a doubt. I hope everybody can make this event next year when we get back to normal. Of course, we were very anxious to see Peter out on the racetrack, and unfortunately, he pulled off the track here, had some kind of a problem, and we never did get a chance to see this beautiful Alfa Romeo out on the racetrack racing. But there'll be another day, believe me. This car is certainly gorgeous. Of course, practice would come, and as we see Gordon Medinica of Pelham, New York, strapping in this beautiful 1975 March 758, and believe me, this car was gorgeous. And you can't get over what they do here to get ready, you know, for the race. I mean, there's all kind of adjustments, you know, between the mirrors and the seat belts, and you just have to make sure everything is right. And as you can see, it's something they do. They just do it normally every time they race, and yeah, everyone had to wear a mask. I mean, this was no picnic to pull off, but believe me, they did an excellent job here up at Lime Rock as this driver was getting ready, and we're gonna show you a little footage of him out on the racetrack, and believe me, this car is nothing to fool with. He really knew how to get it around this Lime Rock track. And yeah, here he is getting ready, and they'll be starting it up pretty quick, and I just can't get over the ritual they go through to get ready to do this. Every driver does it, and believe me, number 69 is going to be all set to go here, and you will see him on the racetrack. Now they're adjusting mirrors. I mean, there's a lot to this. You know, people don't really understand, you know, everything needs to be done, and of course safety is number one. I don't have to tell you that. There's no getting around what you need to do here to get ready and to make sure you're safe. And of course, with the COVID going on too, with masks and everything else, it was not an easy thing to do, but as you could see, they're making it happen. Of course, they'll be starting her up pretty soon to make sure it's warm to get ready to go out to the paddock. And believe me, this car was certainly a beautiful car. Well, as Gordon got going, you could see it certainly didn't take him long to get comfortable on that racetrack, and that car looked right at home. Let me tell you, that car was beautiful. And here we go again. And he is just on. Look at it. Look at that car. Beautiful. Mark, 1975. Beautiful car. Of course, one of our favorite cars that was at this event was an ex-Bob Sharp Datsun Z number 33, and believe me, this car is absolutely gorgeous, without a doubt. Of course, you know, you got to get wired in just like everybody else. And getting all the belts straightened out, and, you know, just like a ritual they go through. And believe me, here is the driver getting ready, and he owns this car, Mike Jacobellis of New Milford. Believe me, look at all the safety gear. These guys here, just like clockwork. They do everything they're supposed to do, and I can't wait to see this Datsun out on a racetrack, because believe me, in its day, it has certainly caused a lot of damage. Bob Sharp is a very special person with us, and coming from New Milford, I'm sure he was a favorite with Mike. And yeah, the car's it's a 73 240Z. As you can see, he's getting ready, and yeah, he's getting ready to go out on the racetrack. I cannot wait to tape him out on that racetrack with this beautiful car. The time came where Mike got out on that racetrack, and boy, we were waiting with batted eyes. Let me tell you, it's going to be a real sight to see this Datsun number 33 out on the racetrack. And boy, let me tell you, he's getting that thing warmed up, and didn't take him long to get a feel for this beautiful track. And yeah, that number 33 has got a special meaning to our family, and we just love to see Bob Sharp cars in action. And this was no different, let me tell you. Just look how beautiful this car is out on the racetrack. There's no wonder how many championships Bob had won, but I gotta give Mike a lot of credit. You know, he handled this car beautifully, and can't wait to see it up here more often. Actually, he did an absolutely wonderful job with this car. Look at the thing go, just beautiful. Yes, we came across another car that always interested us. It was Austin the Healey 100, and we came across this number 347, owned and driven by Rich Malumain of Washington, Pennsylvania. And boy, let me tell you, this 104 was just a beautiful car, as you could see. And I mean, he's going through a little ritual here, making sure everything's ready to go, and he'll be strapping in pretty soon. And then that hood in this car with louvers on it was actually Daytona version, which, you know, very hard to come by. I don't know if he reproduced that or not, but if this is an original Daytona car, believe me, it is a very rare car, and very pretty too, I must add. This car was really one of my favorite cars when I was growing up, as there was a teenage girl who owned one of these cars, lived in our town, and believe me, she used to scare me to death driving me around this car. It was a beautiful car, and yeah, look at the ritual. I mean, these guys, I have to give them credit. You know, they just Just know what to do, and safety is number one. And believe me, he's got a beautiful car here, and we can't wait to see it out on the racetrack.
Coming up, the 87 of Michael Gershon. Start finishes, George Nagler, Healey, Gershon, Mitchell. And the first of our SMT car, Patrick Healey.
Yeah, here we go again, strapping in and getting ready, going through their ritual, getting their gloves ready and everything else, and making sure their belts are good and tight. And I'll tell you, this car I'm pretty impressed with. I have to say, Rich done an absolutely wonderful job putting this car together. And out on the racetrack is going to be even more interesting, as in their day, believe me, they were a force to reckon with. And absolutely wonderful Austin Healey 104s, very popular car during the day. And yep, there he goes, getting ready to go out on the racetrack, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next out there. Yes, it was a beautiful sight to see 347 out there with that Austin Healey, and boy, it didn't take him long to get comfortable, I'll tell you that. Yes, the Austin Healey looked right at home, and boy, let me tell you, it was just a beautiful car out there, and believe me, he was in good company. He had some real nice cars in his class, and it was not an easy class. As you could see, they're beautiful. Look at these cars. But that Austin, I am so impressed with how he got it around this racetrack. And yeah, here he goes again. I mean, just like clockwork. That thing was handling beautifully. I'd love to just park that car right in my garage, let me tell you. Yeah, here we go again. He was right on it, boy. And people had a tough time keeping up with him. Did an absolutely wonderful job. Rich did a beautiful job out there today, and I'll tell you, I can't wait to see him out on this racetrack again, as it's just a wonderful sight to see all these beautiful cars. And as we come to the conclusion of the show, I want to show you a little bit of Lime Rock Park as you see it from the view from the top of the hill. And as you can see, it's just a sprawling, beautiful place. They really named this place right when they said it's a park, because when you're here, you just feel like it's just the absolutely most prettiest racetrack I have ever been to. And Lime Rock keeps this place mint, I'll tell you. No matter when we come up here, we just enjoy ourselves and have a great time. Please tune in again next week to Racing Action Today. This program is brought to you in part by R2 Pictures and real estate broker Larry Mangello.